Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this. This is the second ever UBW Round Table. Now, you'll notice there isn't just my friend Max and Danny this time. We are five this time, including four UBW champions. All four UBW champions. And of course, if UBW had continued going... Spoilers. Oh, no, yeah, Swinny's never going to win anything. Let's do some introductions, shall we? Okay. Calm down, children. Let's just get this bit out of the way, then we can laugh. Okay, down there is a good friend of mine. He was the first ever BBW champion and the first ever UBW champion. He's an all-round extreme kind of guy, despite the lack of hair. You know, I always thought his hair was, he was always like Samson, you know, once he had his hair cut, he'd lose all his power. But it's not true, it really isn't. Extreme Dave! Yeah.
Bang up!
Next to him, I'm genuinely pleased to have this guy here, because I've been trying to get him at my house for a year at least.
Yeah,
maybe
you have.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Oh, I just walked into the couch. Ladies and gentlemen, I genuinely believe he's the best technical wrestler we had in the company. I'm sure people would agree with that. Ladies and gentlemen, Swinnbad!
Thank you very much.
Yay! Next to him, this guy. He got a bit pissed on the last one and made a tip of himself a lot, but you never know, he might do that. He might not. Ladies and gentlemen, he defeated Extreme Dave for the UBW Championship at Salvation. Yes. Max Carnage. Yay. I'm some guy. I'm irrelevant.
Jobber!
I'm the jobber. I'm the jobbing no sell king.
We need Valo's booing.
We need Valo's booing on the top one. And of course, next to me is the guy who beat me, unfortunately, for the UBW Championship. And as far as I know, is still the UBW. Well, he's still got the physical belt. Let's put it that way.
No one beat you.
Well, he's actually got the belt. Ladies and gentlemen, Danny Ace. Ladies and gentlemen, when you left us last, a year ago, for the first ever round table, we talked about Salvation and Doomsday. It was the second week in December 2009. So you're going to get one of these once a year. So we'll talk about Seasons, Beatings, Redemption and Addiction in December 2011. But then we'll hopefully be able to have another one to start in 2012.
Dude, I want to talk about Seasons, Beatings this side of never. Really.
Yeah, I suppose. It's not the best of shows, is it? Last time you left us, we talked about Salvation, Doomsday and Vendetta, and UBW Vendetta is where we're going to pick up tonight. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Recoil episode 7, but before we do that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask Dave and I'm going to ask Swinny the same two questions that I asked these two before, the same set of questions before the start of the round table number 1. So starting with you, Dave, I'd like to know your favourite memory of BBW from 2008. So I'm talking about BBW Prove It with the three-way with myself and you and Pete, and also with Retribution, which was the you versus me, and it was Liam and Jonny and all that one.
I don't know. Let's think about this. I had the Swanton match, the Swanton spot from the three-way, which was fucking awesome. And Pete, hell of a guy for taking it. But we've also got the bulldog through the table, which is just face.
I mean,
absolute face.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have a favourite one, Swinny, my friend?
Same as him.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Good classic moments. I mean, I said it on the last one. My favourite one was the Swanton bomb.
The Swanton,
You notice how they're all
that's one of the
involving
reasons why
me.
I wanted to get involved.
Okay, because last time we talked about Salvation and Doomsday and Vendetta. If you don't mind, just want your favourite moments from the three shows, if you can remember that far back. I don't
What
mind.
shows?
Salvation, which was the four-way involving yourself.
Tornado DDT.
Nice.
Magnum versus Magnum on P. Let's think. The spear at the end of that match
You
as
see,
well.
I said that on the first round table. I mentioned the spear. It's one of those forgotten moments.
Jonny is a beast
what
for
I said.
taking that. Seriously, I nearly broke him in half.
You did break him in.
That's Salvation.
You broke him in half.
You faced Jonny Magnum, Swinny. And I mean that was your first ever match in UBW, and when it just opened a lot of people's eyes. I think, half Nelson suplex. Fuck. ridiculous move, just absolutely silly. Do you have a favourite moment from that show?
Oh, well,
Doesn't have to involve yourself. If you want to talk about one of mine,
I really enjoyed my match with Jonny. It was fucking really good, and everyone's always had good things to say about it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's in my top 5.
I only met him that day. I met him, so
fucking sweet.
And we had a couple of spots that we actually planned, but the rest we just called it. Well, I let him call it because he had it just out of respect.
One of the things that we mentioned on the last round table, all three of us mentioned just how easy Jonny is to work with because he just calls out spots for you. And we'll probably be mentioning that tonight because Dave's classic feud with Jonny Magnum's coming up. So
it was just smooth and comfortable.
Yeah.
Just easy.
Doomsday, favourite moment?
Dave, you me hitting fucking Carnage with the hatchet to the head because he eats soil.
If I remember right, I landed on you.
Yeah, you landed on me, but you ate soil, so it was karma. Karma. Just like the Dave breaking backdrop of Doom.
Do you have a favourite one, Swinnbad, my friend?
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, there was Max versus Dave. There was me versus Jonny in the Iron Man match. Executioner versus InsaneO. Freak versus Liam Styles, and there was no RWL match.
Yeah. That Velo geezer.
I actually like that. It was some good spots.
It was a bit of a spot fest. I've always said that I thought their match at Salvation was better storyline wise. But it was weird.
There's some nice stuff with weapons.
Yeah. I was just about to say they went more out with the weapons. Lastly, before we get on with all these notes, Vendetta. Favourite moment from Vendetta?
Me versus Danny. Simple as.
They're just the whole match.
Just the whole match.
You've got a fair point.
The whole match was epic. I loved every single minute of it. Working with Danny is so fucking easy.
Thanks, man.
So fucking easy. See? Like any spot I call, he does it. Any spot he calls, I do it. It's easy as piss. Easy as piss. And I loved every second of it because you're a sound guy. So.
Thanks, man.
That's good.
I love you so much, man.
What about yourself, Swain?
I just think that's one of the best events we did, to be honest, for the hardcore stuff.
We had hardcore of something fierce. Every single match had tags in it, for example.
It's just brutal.
Mine and Danny's match was the first one that we filmed that. I'd just like to point that out to every single person. I think
we filmed a match with Vendetta.
I think me and Max went on first because you arrived late. If you watch the match, you see you appearing halfway through the match.
Did you guys have top?
Yeah, we had top. But anyway, so shall we get on? You know I'm right. I know me UBW history inside out. You know I'm right. Right!
Nerd.
I am such a UBW nerd. I know everything about the fucking Fed. It's ridiculous. I'm
Who's
a mark
Freak?
for my own Fed. I don't know who Freak is. You know that. I've no
Who's
idea.
Freak?
Who's
You've never heard of the guy.
Who's Freak? So, first things first. Before we get on to Domination,
In my bag.
we're going to talk about Recoil episode 7 briefly. Tonight, we're not going to touch on the recoils as much as we did on the first round table because we felt like that was dragging it down a little bit. Not dragging it down, just making it longer, you know. Dragging it out is what I'm trying to say. We should be concentrating on the Freak views, and that's what we want to do tonight. But there's a couple of recoil moments that we want to talk about. The first one is on Recoil episode 7. It's Jonny Magnum versus the Freak because it's one of the funniest matches. In fact, it's probably the funniest match UBW ever put on. There are some seriously comedy spots. Now, we all know that guy's the Freak. No, and what I've just said. Dave, tell me about the match, man.
Fun match. Once again, Magnum, easy to fucking work with. Yeah. Like I said, if one of us was to suggest something, the other would bounce off of it, and we'd create sort of some sort of cohesion, and then the next thing you know, we've got some sort of fucking epic match on the go. You know,
It's so adaptable, isn't he?
Yeah, he's so adaptable. It's like you can suggest one thing to Jonny, and then he can be like, okay, we're going to take it from that into this, and then into this, and then you could be like, oh, okay, well, we're going to just add this, and then that, and this, and that. And then you've got a fucking awesome match on Thrash.
Thing with that match as well is that Jonny really comedied it up.
Yeah.
Is that the word? Comedied? Well,
Comedy.
Johnny was
Humoured.
humoured it up. Johnny was just as funny as Freak was. You know, he was doing
Rolling
much
around and
stuff.
stuff.
See, Freak was always unintentionally funny.
Yeah.
Freak was always just the kind of guy that, you know, I always sort of came out as too much of a heel, in my opinion. Always too much of a heel. So Freak was just sort of there to sort of like show the humorous side. Of course, nobody knew that it was me, so it didn't really matter. But it was for my own satisfaction.
What's it like wrestling as Freak?
Fun. Very fun.
Does it get hot under the mask?
It does. Very hot. There was one time I got so fucking hot under that mask. I think it was against you. Or something like that. I had to take the mask off halfway through the match just to say to myself, I need to get some fresh air, man. It was definitely hard wrestling as the Freak, man, but it was fun. You know, just
fun times for all. Also, on Recoil episode 7 was our first match, mine and Danny's. Normally I'd just say it was just that there's 3 incidents that we feel we should talk about. The first...
We feel?
Well, I feel that, well, you know... The first one is where I hit Danny over the head with a pipe.
Lol.
Because I hit him over the back like 3 or 4 times, and then I think because I'm going to try and heal it up a bit, I'm going to try and do a shot to the back of his head. And I measured it out 3 times so I knew exactly where I was going to hit, yeah? And then when I actually do it for real, I go, BAM! Right on the back of his head. Did that hurt?
Yes, it hurt a lot. I can still feel the pain now.
It's still reverberating around your skull.
Swinny's still selling the injuries.
The thing is, I feel that Danny got me back for that about a minute later, because Danny suplexes me and I land squarely on the top of my head.
You should learn how to land.
Nothing that I could have done about that.
Wrestling 101 states don't land on the top of your head.
It's not even that.
The other thing I always makes me laugh is the way that after Dave interferes and cost me what he should have cost Danny the match, I go into Superman mode and hit a leg drop off the ladder, an elbow drop off the ladder, and then a painkiller to get the win. It's like Champagne saying, yeah, I would have beaten him anyway. But it's just absolutely unnecessary. It's one of those things that you look back and just go, why? Okay, Recoil 8 featured some matches. One of them was significant because it was it was Liam Stars, his last appearance in UBW, so yeah, I'm sure that made you a happy guy. To be fair, I think their match was brilliant. Their last ever match was a great match. So, and that is that, yeah. Liam Stars quit, basically because of me. I'm going to hold my hands up. Me and him had very, very different personalities, and we had a big argument, and basically Styles said, I'm not prepared to be in the same Fed as Mark P, so I was like, off you go, and then he left. Not to be seen in the ring, at least, ever again. And of course, like I say, that made Matt's a happy boy. So, we move on to the first Freak review of this session. We're going to talk about Domination. Now, if someone's got an opinion about Domination, please say it now, because otherwise I'm just going to rip Domination to pieces.
I like Domination.
I thought it was good.
It has its moments.
Anyone else? Go on.
I liked it.
Expand on it a little bit.
Started out as a bit of a disaster of a day.
See, that's what I want to talk about. My side of it is nothing to do with in the ring. So if you guys want to talk about the in-ring stuff,
that's the problem that I've got with you having a problem with this show. It's not the actual what you see.
Yeah.
Wrestling was fine on the show. Maybe a couple of people had a gripe with, say, a couple of matches or something like that.
Well,
but
stuff behind the scenes.
Essentially, the only thing that really pissed everyone off on that day was the fact that Swinny couldn't fucking find his way to the show.
Oh dear me. That's right. Let me say my bit. That show was the absolute definition of a disaster from my point of view. Because let me tell you something. Right, I wake up. I have to get up stupidly early to get to Keighley on the bus. Right, because there isn't a direct train there. I wake up. I feel like at 5 in the morning. I feel like utter death. I stagger to the bus station, get on the bus, and immediately have to use the bus toilet to throw up. I throw up all the way to Manchester, right? I feel shitty at Manchester bus station and feel like, right, I'm going to have to go and be sick again and find that the toilet's there costs 20p a go. I threw up 5 times at that bus station, which cost me a fucking £1. I resent that a lot, yeah?
You have to pay to...
You have to pay to use the toilet. And then, so I get on the bus, which is from Manchester to Leeds, yeah? And I don't remember any of the journey other than throwing up. I didn't see any of the journey because I spent all the time in the bog. I then had to get from the Leeds bus station to Leeds train station where I'm meeting Dave and Danny, all while running because I want to be sick so much. I get there, meet up with Dave. Danny isn't there yet, so I'm like, listen mate, can you just hold on to my bag for a sec? I've got to go and be sick. Get to the toilets, 30p to use their fucking bobs, had to throw up in there 4 times, fun times for all, meet up with Danny. We're meant to be meeting Swinny at Leeds train station, yeah? So we sit there for half an hour going, you know, looking at this fucking train that goes at 5:30, and we're like, we've got to get that train, or we're sitting in Leeds for another 2 hours. So if we get to the point where we have basically have the group go, oh, sorry Swinny, but we're fucking going. We get there, right, bearing this in mind, there's meant to be loads and loads of feds there, wasn't there? There was meant to be loads and loads. We're basically going to be we're basically going to do it as a camping trip, weren't we? And we were going to all meet up, and incidentally, on a Wednesday. So, for example, my Lisa, who normally does the camera work, is at work. You couldn't make it because you've got your kids, you know, etc., etc. We get there, and there's one guy from another Fed. One guy, K-Bar from SNW. Every other Fed no-showed. Every single one. So we have to then trudge our way all the way to the field we're getting at, all the while thinking Swinny's going to fucking murder us, right? Swinny is going to murder us. Swinny rings up Pete, yeah? PS2 Peter to you and me, who gives him, right, basically you come out of Keighley train station, get to the top of the steps, and you have to turn right. So Peter, in his infinite wisdom, tells Swinny to go left. So you can imagine Swinny fucking gets to Keighley train station, comes out, goes left, and wanders round Keighley for the next hour, yeah, by which point, yeah, we've got to the field, tried to set up the tarp that we've bought, which is a little tiny one, like this big, a circular tarp. Yeah, by this point, the phone's ringing. It's like, oh, here's Swinny, probably just about 5 minutes round the road or something like that. Peter has to hold the phone at arm's length because he can hear Swinny shouting so much, saying something along the lines of, if you don't fucking tell me the right way to go right now, I'm going to fucking go home. Literally at arm's length. And because the day was going so badly, we are creasing, we are literally doubled over laughing at that, just because it's one of those days that's going completely wrong. But, don't get me wrong, that doesn't cloud my judgment of the matches. It's just that I was so ill, I just really don't like my match. But, the opening match is Jonny Magnum and Swinnbad and Mr InsaneO, and that for me is a match of the year contender. Yeah. A straight up match of the year contender. Gentlemen, some thoughts, because I've just waffled for 5 minutes, I've got a sore throat now. Talk about that match.
All I can say is InsaneO's best match. I don't know whether that's because, you know, it was between him, Swinny, and Jonny, or, you know, whatever. But that was InsaneO's best match, in my opinion.
We focused on, like, his strength and tried to get that over as, like, his attribute, like, against us too. So, a lot of spots, like, I thought of, you know, around that, really. Yeah. It was like, that's the kind of psychology that the match has.
Yeah, absolutely.
Makes sense.
Absolutely.
Because he was a bigger guy.
Yeah. Playing to your strengths, which is a great thing in a wrestling match. The way you and Jonny Magnum copied each other move for move, that makes me mark out something best. That's one of those spots that is just absolutely superb, isn't it?
So that's something, again, he just so adaptable.
Yeah.
It's like, just improvises.
Yeah, man. It's exactly that, isn't it? You just, with Jonny, he calls spots for you, you do them straight up. But if you call him a spot, it's done. Because he knows exactly what he's doing. For example, you guys did. God, you went into a total elimination on InsaneO. It was like just silly move. You never see a move like that in backyard wrestling. So you hit a half Nelson suplex again on Jonny Magnum, and this one was even better than the one you did at Salvation. It's worth noting that Multiple Man, who was a big fan of ours, but he was also one of our harshest critics. You know, if we put on something crap. He dissed something fierce. An example of that is the next match, isn't it? Freak Vs Googooboy, which we'll talk about in a minute, but Multiple Man voted it worst match of the year. But this match, he gave it 4.75 out of 5. He absolutely fucking loved this match.
It's a good match.
Thank you.
It's a fucking awesome match. I'm not going to deny that.
No, I love it.
Awesome.
It's like I say, it's in your top 5 and it's a match of the year contender.
That's some original spots.
We just mentioned this, Freak Vs Googooboy. Now this match has been slated by everyone. Multiple Man, like I say, voted it worst match of the year. When Hands for Matt did her review of it, she said that she hated it. I was talking to this guy on MSN the other day, he said he hated it.
I didn't say I hated it.
You said you love to hate it. But the thing is, right, everyone ripped it to shreds, yeah? But no, maybe it's just because I was there and I was holding the camera in between vomiting sessions. Because basically every time the cameras weren't rolling, I was either going under or I was staggering off to behind a bush and chucking up. Just need to point that out. Yeah, anyway, maybe it's because I was there. I was holding one of the cameras. I laughed and laughed and laughed at that match. I laughed something fierce. When you drop kick a wooden ladder into
I did.
your
I dropped
face.
it.
So funny.
I was trying to play on the whole the freak drop kicks the ladder, and it just doesn't work like I did with me versus Jonny, because you can see me drop kick that one, and it's sort of freaks on the floor. This one, I sort of drop kick it, and then the ladder just sort of clunk onto my head. It's
So
like,
funny.
oh,
Didn't you get busted open from
I
that?
did. Like, I had the mask to protect me as well.
You sit there and wait for it to fall on you. You
It's
don't
like,
move
I was-
out of the way.
The whole time I was thinking to myself, okay, this is falling relatively slowly. I could pretty much take this to my head. Oh, God, that
Fantastic.
It was funny, man.
What's it like wrestling, Googooboy or K-Bar?
K-Bar's easy enough an easy enough guy to wrestle with.
Yeah.
Like, he's
Trying that.
he's sort of like Jonny,
So bored.
but
Hey?
You look so bored.
Why, thank you.
Carry on, sorry.
Max is always bored unless he's got something up
This
his
time, because he's
arse.
only on his first can, he just doesn't care this time. Sorry, you were saying, dude. I do apologise for interrupting you.
Like I said,
Max is out.
wrestling.
Why do things have to be going in my arse?
Well, last time they were coming out your arse, so
Yes.
I'm in the danger zone.
yeah, exactly. He's got a point there, hasn't he?
I don't do jobs.
Yeah.
But yeah, wrestling Googooboy was pretty easy, to be honest. Yeah, he's
Fair enough.
a fun guy. Yeah, a little intriguing, shall we say?
He makes the best noises.
He
Really
cut one
does.
of the single best promos I have ever seen at Domination,
Remind
and I
me.
don't think we ever saw it.
Is that the
It
Liam
was
Stars
the
locker room?
it was the tent promo.
For those who don't know, because it's never been released, basically, because we were doing a camp out, there's a tent set up, one of our tents is set up, and someone had written on a piece of paper, Liam Stars' locker room, pinned it onto the tent, and then Googooboy comes out of the tent, and insinuating that he's just been shagging Liam Stars. And
Well,
it is
it's
hilarious.
raping.
Well, yeah, let's be fair, raping him. And it's so funny, but the problem is that,
It's a bit rude.
well,
Like that makes it any better.
Yeah!
no, it's just like I say, it's the way that Googooboy talks. I can't listen to him talk. He could talk about fucking world politics, and I'd still laugh at him just because of the way he talks.
Isn't it?
Anyway, yeah, the thing was that Dave's camera that whole weekend just refused to record sound. The whole thing, so you only get sound off one camera throughout the whole show and all that taping. Fun times, yeah,
Squeaky hammer.
it's one of those quite
Squeaky hammer for the win.
yeah, because we had my N95, which I normally would record on. That taped the first match, and then decided it just hated me and died. So we had to use two really poor quality cameras. So the camera quality isn't great, and for some reason my mic is really loud when I did the commentary. I don't know why that is. Fun times, though. Speaking of fun times, I wrestled Jonny Magnum in a match that I personally really don't like. But these guys have been telling me tonight because we watched it tonight. They actually think it's alright.
It's good.
So the thing is, right, I was so fucking ill. I felt awful. I threw up 3 minutes before the match starts. You'd think, after throwing up since 5 in the morning, you'd think that I wouldn't have anything left in there. But believe me, I was still chucking up. Not only before, but after this match as well. I was still going, believe me. I don't know. I really don't know.
This is becoming a video for fans of UBW and Von.
Yes, it is, isn't it? It really is. Basically, we had two stories going into this one. The first one is Jonny Magnum wrestled in that opener that was so good. He got the living crap kicked out of him, to be fair. Half Nelson suplex and shit like that. Basically, we were to tell a story that Jonny was fucked, and I was going to batter him. And why was I going to batter him? Oh, yes, because I forgot the title belt. See, this is something I didn't mention a moment ago, yeah? I get halfway to Manchester, my friend starts ringing, it's Lisa, and she says, have you forgotten something? I'm like, no, everything's here. I look up and I can see my bag in the luggage, look down, I've got another bag here. And she just says these wonderful words, where's the belt then? And I just sort of looked down and looked up and just went, for fuck's sake! And I'd forgotten the title belt. Now the plan was, I was booked to lose to Jonny Magnum at that taping. We can drop the title to him. Because I forgot the belt, we figured we couldn't do a title change. So that I got one more month as champion, win to me. But I promise you, I had my hand on heart here, I promise you it was not deliberate. No matter, because I've been told by a lot of people that was a deliberate move, so I could be champion for another month. Now, bear in mind that I never actually wanted. I would never. Well, the thing is, I never wanted the belt. You know, me beating Max was always meant to be for the belt. It was meant to be a long time down the road. You know, when me and Max happened at Vendetta because Max had got injured, it was never meant to happen that way. No. You know, we have to do it like that, and so. But you know, it's one of those things with benefit of hindsight.
Max is a whore.
Yeah, it's true. I think it's one of those things that works better in hindsight. The other thing, better in hindsight, is that yeah, we've got the Jonny versus Dave feud out there, and we've got me and Danny feud out of it. The other thing is that what?
Oh mercy.
Not actually trying to show what you lost, not to be honest.
You know what? I genuinely don't know either.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That's all good, isn't it? Shall I continue, or do you want to laugh for a few minutes?
I'm kind of intrigued to find out what it is we're laughing at, to be honest.
What are you laughing
Whatever it is, it's funny.
Be professional, come on.
I'm proper fucking corpsing.
When we get to the end of this, and it's going to be just nothing at all. It's going to be one of those things that's just not funny at all. Can I continue, please? I want to talk about you guys in your last man standing match. You can't do that when you're laughing that hard, can you? I only want to say one more thing about my match, because goddamn, I've talked about Domination. I'm not going to talk about fucking Prove It at all. You guys can talk about that. It's just been me waffling. Fucking hell, people on my YouTube channel get enough of me waffling.
Still waffling,
At the best of times, I'm still talking. Fuck. Right, one more thing about my match, yeah, is that Johnny Magnum was going to go up the ladder twice, and then Mr K-Bar was going to interfere. The thing is, the first time Johnny Magnum goes up the ladder to hit his elbow drop, that's when K-Bar decided to interfere. So we had this whole match planned out, like I say, because basically Johnny Magnum had to carry me through everything, because I was so ill. Yeah, the whole of the match was improvised from that point, and I think the match actually works out better for it, but at the same time, you know, it's another one of those situations, isn't it, where K-Bar interferes, hits the spinebuster on the ladder, which was a botch, to be fair. I then hit a pain game, which should have been the win. It should have just ended it there. We didn't have to keep going for another 6 fucking minutes after that, did we? Not really, no. Right, that's enough of me. You guys can talk now. So, the main event for that show is a last man standing match. This guy, discuss. I'm not going to talk for a while.
Well, see.
I thoroughly enjoyed that match. It hurt a lot, but I think it was good. It wasn't as good as the Vendetta match, though, in all fairness.
No,
I don't know. It depends on what you think of the matches in themselves. I mean, like, you can think to yourself, oh yeah, their first match was the best, but like when you actually
That was our third.
Yeah, what you
Yeah, that was our third match.
So like when you actually think to yourself, okay, their first match was awesome between each other. Yeah. So they're bound to go on to a second match, which is going to be awesome, and then they're going to go on to the third match, which is going to be awesome. I always think that, you know, because it doesn't always work out like that. I still think that we had a fucking awesome match though, for what it is.
Brutal. Yeah.
Many people think that, you know, oh, it's not the greatest technical fest or anything like that.
It was supposed
It's
to be
not.
brutal. That was the
I'm
idea.
not a technical wrestler.
No.
I'm honestly not a technical wrestler. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm shit, so you know.
Utilise what you can to
So
your
you're
advantage,
champions,
you know?
ladies and gentlemen.
2 of our champions admitting their shit, or not technical or something.
The wall was fun.
I've got to say,
The wall was very, very
That was
fun. Twice.
How tall did you say that wall was?
I think I said on commentary that it's 15 feet, which would be a hell of a cell. Hell in a cell high.
stood next to it, it's about head high.
Yeah.
15 feet
Hey,
tall
commentators
wrestlers.
always exaggerate. It's just what they do, don't they? So I thought I'd exaggerate just a little bit.
Exactly,
Yeah.
like 15.
It was.
On MSN, a couple of days after Domination aired, I got told by a few people that that was their match of the year. So, you know, you've got to take that, you know, as good.
Match.
Suplex off the ladder was a great spot. The FU onto the tray makes me laugh because you hear Dave go, no, 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 and bam, onto the tray, which makes me laugh. DDT on the chair was a lovely, lovely spot. Dave, you got busted open for the first time, if I remember rightly, because you got chained to the face. That was good.
It's funny that the only person that I ever actually get busted open to is the guy that I have the most violent feud with, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I mean, let's face it, compared to my Champagne feud, and my Jonny Magnum feud, me and Danny Ace was fucking violent.
Yeah, he had some power. Yeah. Got a lot, with loads of different people.
Was the talk of a flaming table match between you two at one point?
Yes. But you said that you didn't want fire, so we switched it up for the 2 out of 3 tables match.
I still stand by that decision.
in all
Well,
fairness,
flaming tables too much.
Pretty fair.
I always thought fire was an element that we shouldn't have put in because it was just too much. It was so
See, that's fair,
uncontrollable.
but I really didn't have that much of a problem with taking a firebomb.
I always thought if we're going to do fire, it should be like in some.
Maybe that's just me, you know? Maybe it's just me being fucking extreme Dave once again, yeah?
It's like the barbed wire thing. Me and Pete, believe it or not, we planned to do a barbed wire match, and for some reason it got called off.
See, I wouldn't have done barbed wire. I wouldn't have done barbed wire.
You've said that you'd happily do a barbed wire match, didn't you?
Absolutely.
And if anyone saw mine and Max's match this May, that's a lot of M's, isn't it? You'll see that I hit him with a cheese grater. Max called that, and if you watch it without the commentary, you hear me hit him the first time, and he tells me to hit him harder. You know, and I've never seen that side of you, but now, you know, after that, I'm like, yeah, of course he'd do a barbed wire match. He'd happily take a bump into me.
You got brutalised in that match.
I got the shit kicked out of me in that match for 6 minutes.
You see, that's the difference between me and Max, because I wouldn't take a barbed wire bump.
Would you not?
I'd take a fire bump, but I wouldn't take a barbed wire bump.
It's weird. It's like you've got no sort of sense of well-being for your own body, and whereas I'm a bit more safe with my own body. It's like anything on my skin, like I don't really care about.
But you see,
injuries like that.
See, you say that, and yeah, barbed wire can rip skin and whatnot. You know, it can leave you with some serious physical
It's like
scarring.
light tubes. We use
Yeah,
that.
we use like those.
I used light
Ironically, I don't
tubes
agree with the light
twice.
And we saw Prove It the first time when I hit Pete with the light tube, and you see a bit about so big going to Dave's finger, and instantly it starts bleeding like a bandit. You bled something.
I still have a scar from that.
Nice.
It's right there.
Good.
Right there.
That there you. You've always got to